In the previous lecture, you understand how you can use continue, break, and pause keyword to work with for and if statement. Now let's take a look at a very amazing technique which you can use with delete keyword. Now as you know, in the previous lecture we understand how to use delete statement. Let me show you a very amazing magic you can do with delete statement. Now for example, let's say you have x variable, and to this x variable you specify a dictionary, and in this dictionary you specify key and value pair. And now you create a y variable and you specify equal to sign and specify x dictionary to it. So now x and y is now equal. So if I just print x and then if I just print y, then you will get the same result. Both are equal. But now what if I change the value of x variable? If I just say here x is equal to none, just like this, what do you think? What would be the result? When I execute the statement, you can notice now the x is now equal to none, and we still have the value of this x variable in this y variable. So when I specify none to this x variable, it is still available through y variable. But when I specify none to the y variable, suddenly let me show you what happened. If I just specify here y is equal to none, then when I execute the statement, I'm going to have none as a result. So the Python interpreter simply delete the value and store the garbage value inside both these variables. So there is no way I can retrieve the previous dictionary. Another way of doing this is to use a delete statement. Not only the delete statement removes the reference of an object, but it also removes the name itself. For example, if I just get rid of this y variable right from here, and I'm going to just get rid of this statement as well. And here I'm going to say delete x, just like this. When I try to execute this program, I'm going to have an error message because we don't have this x now in this program because we deleted it using this delete statement. So now we can't use this x variable after this delete statement. So we need to first remove it just like this. Now when you execute the statement, you still get a dictionary in this y variable. We don't have this x variable now, but you can still access this dictionary using this y variable. You might assume that by deleting x, you would also delete y, but that is not the case. X and y refers to the same list, but deleting x didn't affect the y at all. The reason for this is that you can delete only the name, not the list itself, or you can say not the value itself. In fact, there is no way you can delete the values in Python. You can only delete a name of the variable in Python. There is no way you can delete the values in Python. Now what if you want to execute a string in a Python program? There is a simple way you can do it. Now once you understand how you can delete the name of the variable, let me show you how you can execute a string in the Python program. Right here, I'm going to just simply create a variable val, and in this variable, I'm going to just store a string. So here I'm going to create a variable val, and I'm going to store a print statement inside it. You can notice here, we coded the string in the double quote, and in the single quote, we specify Python string. Now, I want to execute the string as a Python statement. Using a simple function execute, I can execute this string as a Python statement. So here I'm going to call a simple function execute, and in the parentheses I'm going to pass this value just like this. So I'm going to pass this variable to this function, and when I execute this file, you can notice I'm going to have Python string as a result. So this execute function will take the string as a Python statement and execute it. So in Python, you can execute string as well using execute function. Now you can even create and store a string value in the dictionary. For example, let's say if I just create here a variable scope, and I'm going to specify dictionary to it just like this. I'm going to specify empty dictionary to this scope variable. Now just after that, here I'm going to just call my execute function, and in the parentheses I'm going to add single quote and double quote and add str and specify equal to sign, and then here I'm going to specify Python string. Oops, I think I forgot to specify single quote here, just like this. And now in this single quote, I have a string, and I'm going to specify this string to this variable. And now I'm going to store it in the variable. So I'm going to specify here scope. So I'm going to pass second argument to this execute function. So now if I want to print this statement, I can simply use this variable. So what if I want to print this string? I can simply use this variable. Let me show you. If I want to print this Python string, I'm going to say here print. Using this scope variable, I can print this string. So here I'm going to just say here str. So I have this string value in this variable, and using the scope, I can access it using this key. When I execute the statement, you can notice I have Python string as a result. So in this scope, we have a key str, and the value is going to be Python string. So I'm going to execute it using this scope variable. Now let's take a look at very equal function of execute, which is eval, a built-in function that is similar to execute function. Eval executes a series of Python statements. Eval executes a Python expression written in a string and returns the resulting value. For example, if you ask the user to specify expression and get the result like calculator, for example, now let's say you want to ask a user to specify the expression and get the result, you can simply create here a print statement. I'm going to say here print, and in this print, I'm going to say input, and in this input, I'm going to say enter expression, and I want to return that expression. So when I execute this program, this only asks me to enter expression, but will not do anything with it. I'm going to just call here a function eval. So I'm going to get rid of this input from here, call eval function, and in this function I'm going to call this input function. When I execute the statement, you can notice this will just ask me to enter an expression. Here I'm going to just call 1 multiply by 5. When I execute the statement, when I enter, you can notice I'm going to have 5 as a result. So this eval is going to take a string and execute it in the Python. So I'm going to just input a string and specify the string to this eval function. The eval function take this string and execute as a Python statement. So I'm going to have 5 as a result. If you want, you can specify any expression here, that doesn't matter. The eval function execute any valid Python statement. So when you specify string, it returns the result of the expression. That's super easy, right? Now practice with delete, execute, and eval function to understand how this function works. In the next lecture, we're going to talk about how we can create our own function in Python. So I will see you in the next one.